to cut the stream off for a minute, but we're back. Or at least I am. No one else is here yet. But I'll keep it going for a tad bit of time. If people show up, we'll chit chat, have some fun. But again, if no one shows up, it'll be nothing. But if you do show up, that'd be appreciated. Thought we could talk. Things like The Walking Dead, The 100, Fear the Walking Dead, if you're a fan of that. David! Hey, David. Good to see ya. We're just doing a free-for-all, just asking questions, so whatever you want to talk about, you just shoot me a question, and I'll answer whatever you want to talk. Anything, pretty much, just nothing like political or controversial. Everything's alright, I guess I could say. Had a little issue to this morning, at least, with some issues regarding my Twitter account. That was kind of frustrating. Someone accused me of hacking them. Never did it, but they ended up accusing me, and then I ended up losing my account and had to create a whole new Twitter account today, which is extremely frustrating. But hopefully we can get things rolling and maybe get things going again soon. That's what happened. It was so frustrating. I tried to resolve the issue with Twitter, but they pretty much ignored me, which was very, very frustrating. I wish that hadn't have happened, but what are you gonna do? This person, I've been having issues with these people who I'm a fan of the Fear the Walking Dead, and they just were getting on my nerves. No problem. I found you from Nacro Nation, and I liked a lot of the things you were saying. So I followed you because I like them. They're big. I'm a big friends with them, and I liked a lot of the things they were saying. But yeah, that's what happened today. So I spent the whole afternoon trying to get that issue resolved. Couldn't get it resolved, and just said forget about it, and just decided to create a whole new account, which was kind of annoying. Seeing as I had, look, I'm not going to say like I had a huge following because I only had like 49 followers, but still, I went to that to now having at the moment like 4 or 5, so that's kind of frustrating. But, shit like that happens. You're going to run into people who just don't agree with what you're saying. That's pretty much what happened. Just this guy who I had an issue with, and then his, I guess, friends or whatever on Twitter jumped in and said I was attacking him, and I'm like, he's attacking me. I would like comment, and then it'd be like he was stalking me. It got frustrating. Yeah, I'm keeping my head up. Just probably gonna block those people that did it. That way they can't find me on this new account. I think that's gonna be the safest thing I can do. They accused me of hacking this one guy's account, which I have zero, I have zero hacking abilities whatsoever. Like, like if I could hack, that'd be awesome. But I have zero hacking abilities. Like, I don't even know how it happened because like they accused me of hacking in between like the time I would be asleep where I live. So like that would be zero way that could have happened. I woke up and the guy was yelling at me saying I hacked them. I'm like, I did no such thing. I guess whoever did it liked a bunch of my posts on my old account and then followed Nacro Nation. I don't even get that, but it was just like, whatever. I spent the afternoon trying to get the issue resolved. Didn't happen, but I'm moving on. Got my new account up and running. Hopefully we can get up to a couple followers in the coming weeks. Still trying to build this channel up. It's a slow process. Been on here for about a year and a half now. Only got 110 followers. But you know what? I don't honestly care. As the saying goes, slow and steady wins the race. And we'll get to somewhere eventually. you know? But, I don't care. I mean, I know there's people out there who have, you know, hundreds and thousands and millions of followers. You got Makeup Pat Present and Trev Chan, Movie Idol, all these big, at least that I know of because I'm into Walking Dead. They got these huge followings, and I'm here with 110, followers. It's like, it kind of gets, can get to you at sometimes, but at the same time, I'm keeping my head up. Like, you know what? Taking it slow and steady. Yeah, doing some promotion. You know, my big thing here is I'm still new at this. Like, I'm a year and a half in, and yet I'm still new. I've talked to people trying to do like collab videos. Nothing there goes into fruition, but I'm trying. My biggest issue right now is I don't show my face here, and I know people might not like that, but it's just due to the fact that the job I'm in is just to I'm trying to do it to protect myself and my clients, create like a safety net there where like they don't know who I am, they can't like look me up or anything, stuff like that. Just for the safety and privacy of myself and my clients, I go by the codename Vision here. Blind Entertainment stands for the fact that I'm a legally blind person, so I figured I'd add that in and we talk about entertainment stuff. So, that's where the title comes from, and I just used the codename Vision. Just figured that'd be something cool, you know. But yeah, promotional stuff, I might look into that. I'm not gonna do any monetization. I don't want to take anybody's money. I'm just not into that kind of stuff. But I I know people have asked me to do that. I'm not gonna show my face. That was another issue I had on Twitter. The guy that was disagreeing me was ended up like I don't know how he did it, but found out who I really am. Like he found me on like Facebook and threatened to show my identity if I didn't leave him. Like if I talked to anybody else, that like really pissed me off. You know, That's good. I'm glad you're good with that. But yeah, that guy who I had an issue with like found me on Facebook and was like blackmailing me pretty much, saying if I commented on anybody's other posts, he'd expose who I really was, which really pissed me off. Like that was like, how low can you go as a person to like expose someone's identity like when they don't want it to be out there? Like, do you got nothing better to do with your life that you're blackmailing, harassing, and all this stuff? Like, even going as far as to looking someone up on Facebook or whatever. That just pissed me off. And like at that point, I was done. We ended up making peace, but then he made a post calling me the R word, so I reported it to Twitter. Okay, I reported it to Twitter because I thought, okay, you know what? I've had enough. We're keeping the peace, but I don't like that, so I reported him to Twitter. And then this whole thing happened last night, and I'm just like, I'm done. I'm gonna block him on my new account, block the rest of his crazy people that are on here, and just move on with my life because I don't have time for that frustration and hate. Yeah, it is very shameful that a person would do that. Another thing that pissed me off was like he had a group of people on Twitter, and it was one of them also has his own like reaction channel. I don't even know who he is, but like they'd jump into the conversation and like would say, well, be like defending him. I'm like, how can you defend this degenerate person? Like he even posted my handle on some kind of creepy ass like pedophilia site or something like that. I'm like, what the f? Like when you go that far, like there's something like mentally not right with that guy. I'm sorry. There's something mentally not right with someone when they post someone else's handle on like a pedophilia site or whatever. It's like, you don't know me. Like, what the f are you doing? it just pisses me off more. But that's enough of my rambling. Yeah, that just pissed me off more. I'm just like, I got to the point where it just frustrated me. I spent pretty much every day on Twitter fighting with this dude, and that's one of the reasons why I never got any content up in the past couple of weeks, is because he was fighting with me all the time. I'm like, can you leave me alone? Get a life. Like, how can you like this dude would spend like an hour to 2 hours at night like attacking me. I'm like, dude, get a life. Like, get a girlfriend, get like, do something, get a job. He's on there all the time and he like posts like 20 spams on one comment. I'm like, get a life, dude. Like, and it's just like, really, if and anybody who disagrees with him, he's like, you must be on drugs, you must be brain dead. I'm like, we're allowed to have our own opinions here. Like, this is just my opinion here based on the Fear the Walking Dead show. I'm allowed to have it. Just because I have opposing opinions and disagree with you doesn't mean I'm like on drugs or an idiot. Like, that just frustrates me. But that's enough of my ramble. So, David, what's something you're into? I saw you on Nacro Nation. I know you're. I think from what I saw, you're a big like comic fan. Is there any what comics are you reading? That's enough of my ramble. Give me something that you like. But yeah, I don't want to just be rambling on about my issues and stuff that happened today. I want to talk to you guys and see what's going on with you guys. So send me anything in that you might want to talk about. Again, nothing controversial or like political. Let's keep it like entertainment, because I don't want to be into that kind of stuff. But anything, send it my way and we can talk. But because I just don't want to be here talking about myself. So letter 44, I've actually never heard of that. Could you give me some insight about what that is? I've actually never heard of that. So give me some insight, maybe tell me what it's a little bit about. I apologize. It's just something I've never even heard of, but so just give me like the gist and stuff. Yeah, I'm a huge Image and Aftershock fan. If you follow me on Twitter, I tweet a lot about that. Um, New previews that. I don't think I saw that news. Unless it's in the new solicitations for like Image or Aftershock, I haven't seen it. I saw that they came out the solicitations, but I just kind of glanced over them. I'm hoping to get my solicitations for Image out in like the coming days or whatever. But yeah, I didn't see that news about that book. But yeah, I'm a huge Image and Aftershock fan. Like, one of the reasons I got into comics is The Walking Dead. Now that's over. Trying to find my new thing. Another of my favorites just ended this past week. Paper Girls. The only big comics right now that I like love are like Aftershock's Animosity, Farmhand. What's some other ones? Gideon Falls, Oblivion Song. I like. I'm trying to think what else is out there right now. The Realm, Redneck, but I'm a little bit behind on those. HQ Reviews. What's up? Glad you could join the stream. Saw you here last time. Another person talk about Letter 44. I'm gonna have to look that up. I have never heard of that. So I am two people in the stream mentioning that. I'm gonna check it out, saying that they picked it up. Definitely gonna check that out. Yeah, that always happens sometimes, ruining it. But HQ Reviews, what's up? I haven't, again, I meant to subscribe to your channel. I know you're following me on here, and I meant to follow you. And again, it just flew out of my brain. I apologize. Hopefully I can do that soon. Charles Soul or something like that. I probably pronounced that last name wrong. But I'm going to check that out. I'm going to check that out later tonight or tomorrow morning and see what I can find out about that. If it's good, I'll check it out. If it's an indie book, I might have to order it off Midtown. My shop sucks at getting indie books. They just suck. I always miss an issue or so every now and then, which always kind of pisses me off. Because they, like, for some reason, and I get it. Marvel and DC are huge. I get it. But show some respect to the indie books. That always kind of pisses me off. Because, like, they always had this huge section for all the new Marvel and DC books. And the indie books just had this little stack here. It's just, like, it pisses me off. I actually haven't gotten to my shop this past week. Just due to the fact that I just been busy. Oh, I like that when they do their research. Because that shows that they're very into their whatever premise they're doing, and they want to show that they actually care about the story. That's something I always like when they actually do their research. So that's good to hear, David. I like to hear that they actually look into their premise. Yeah, I prefer the indie books too, HQ. One of the big reasons that I prefer them, and I get that this might be a nitpick, but they don't. The DC and Marvel always put their like previews in the middle of the book, and I always hate that because you're in the middle of the book, it's getting good, and then you jump to a preview, and I'm like, I don't want to see this. Like Image and Aftershock put them all at the end, which I prefer and like, so I kind of gravitated more to them. I do pick up some Dark Horse and what's the other one? I forget. And IDW from time to time. They kind of put some previews in between, but I can kind of glance over them sometimes. It's not that big of a deal, but I try to stick mainly to ones that put their previews at the end. Grass Kings. Oh, I did read Cold Spots. Yes, I did read Cold Spots. Um, I'll have to check out Grass Kings. Um, that I always like to take recommendations from people. So I'm gonna remember to look at Grass Kings and Letter 44 either tonight or tomorrow morning, whenever I get the time. But yeah, that's good to know. Um, yeah, I'm a big Colin Bunn fan. I know he has two big new books coming out this week. Manor Black and I think it's Knights Temporal. So definitely want to check them out. Um, I know Knights Temporal is an Aftershock book, and I think Manor Black is Dark Horse. I know I said I'm not big on them, how they put their previews in between, but I'm definitely going to check them out. Check that one out, because Colin Bunn does pretty good work with his books. What's the other one he wrote recently? I'm forgetting it. Did he write Bone Parish from Boom Studios? I might be forgetting right now, but I think that's one of his. What's another one? I think he did Dark Ark, which is an Aftershock book that I really liked. But he does a lot of good stuff, and he's one I always keep my eye on. Um, but Donny Cates is another one I like. Of course, Robert Kirkman. I recently got into Scotty Young. I don't know if anybody here has read any of his stuff. I've been really into Middle West by Image. That's a good one that I really like. I found that to be very interesting and a fun title. Definitely got a good premise there. I'm trying to think what else who else I've been checking out. Um, who else is there? Um, Margaret Bennett. She does some good stuff. Well, that's good to hear that you like Knights Temporal. Again, I haven't gone to my shop this week. I called in to make sure I got a copy. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure they had Knights Temporal. I can't remember if they had Manor Black. Cause I always call them to make sure they got my books on hold. I don't always put everything on my pull list, just because I forget half the time. But I think I should have both. If not, I'll have to order one off Midtown. I love Midtown Comics. Just they're for me, they're nice. One of the frustrations though I do have with them is they take forever for books to come. That's one of my biggest issues. I live like an hour or two away from Midtown Comics, and they take forever to come. Oh, I love Bone Parish. I missed issue 10 though. Um, yeah, it's definitely a phenomenal book and one of the greatest ones. Yes, I think I heard he wrote Regression. I never actually read Regression. I think it ended recently. I might check that one out, but if I do, it'll probably just be in trade. I'm not gonna hunt down like single issues of that. I'm just probably gonna pick it up in trade. Um, but yeah, that one, Bone Parish is good. Just missed out on, I think it's issue 10. I was at my shop last week and they said they'd order a copy for me, so I put in that order last week. Probably be another. I don't know if it'll be in this week. If it was in this week, because I didn't say anything on the phone when I talked to them. But it might be. If it's in, maybe I'll get to it. If not, I'll have to wait another week or so. But definitely want to read it. I got issue 11, but gotta wait on issue 10. Because I never like to jump ahead. I always like to keep it, pretty well in order. I can't like jump ahead. Oh, you really liked it, David. I know, you found Knockout Nation, right? I know they did a lot of. I know they reviewed that one big time back when it was going. So yeah, I might have to check that one out. A lot of the stuff that Knockout Nation does or likes, I like pretty much. So they're ones I always go to for like their comic advice. Um, or at least interest, because me and them have a lot of similar taste in comics. There's a few here and there that we don't are into or don't agree on or aren't just our thing, but definitely we have similar tastes. Yeah, skipping the read, I always feel like that's just dumb. Cause like, why would you skip one issue? Like, I feel like you're missing something. If like I read issue 11, and there's this chunk of story that I'm probably gonna be confused about. Cause like, why would you jump ahead? It just to me that just is kind of silly. Cause like, I'm just thinking like, you jump ahead. There's gotta be this chunk that you're missing. Like, there's gotta be, and at least that's how I think. But yeah, I always feel that way at least. Cause there's just so much story that you're probably missing out on. That you know, I would hate to just miss out on. Yeah, key element, you miss a bunch of stuff. To me, skipping an issue would be like if I'm a huge Marvel fan, so skipping an issue would be like going into Endgame without watching Infinity War. And at least in my opinion, like you go into the theater to watch Endgame, and but you didn't see what happened in Infinity War, and you didn't even bother to look up what happened. That's how I feel. Like you go into it'd be like going into like a movie and miss a trilogy. Like you go see the first one, skip the second one, go watch the third one. It's like you're missing a chunk there. I even like TV shows, I have that same issue. Like even if it's a show like a procedural show that doesn't follow like any linear line or story arc, I can't like skip an episode. I have to watch it in order, and that's just like a little like my OCD kicking in there. Cause like to me, it's like I can't do that. It's like a taboo for me. Like I can't miss an episode. If I do, it's just gonna bother me way too much. But yeah, that's just the way I look at it. Skipping the issue is just like skipping just this vital piece of the story that you're never gonna get back. And that, for me, that's why I don't do it. So I agree with you, David. Skipping one issue is not like something I like to do. But yeah, um, what's another thing? What's another book I'm reading? I'm trying to think right now. What did I just recently read? Finish reading. I can't remember. I meant to get caught up this week on a bunch of books, and for some reason, because I had the time to do it, and I had the time to do it, and I had the motivation to do it, but for some reason, it just didn't come to fruition. It's really frustrating me right now. Like, I'm thinking there's a new week coming up, and I'm like, I'm just mad at myself because like I had these plans, get caught up, and it's just like not didn't happen. Yeah, that happened to you too, David. My biggest issue is, and it goes back to how I have the OCD issue, is I can't just like pick up my favorite books and read them. I have to go week by week, and I'm behind a couple weeks. So like I'm going week by week in order, and I'm just got that issue, and I'm just can't seem to do it. You just got caught up on several issues of Paper Girl. Okay, so you please don't give me any spoilers for the finale of Paper Girls. Please, please. I have not caught up with that, and I do not want to be spoiled. Please do not give me spoilers on that one. That's one of my favorite books. I don't know if you heard about this, David, but that actually was picked up, I think, like a week or two ago. It was announced that it was being made into an Amazon Prime series. So that's something that I'm excited for. And who's the screenwriter? I think their name is Stephanie Foley or something like that. I don't think they have. So thanks, David. Thanks. I don't think they have. I don't think she has any too many like writing things. I think the biggest thing she's written was the latest Toy Story movie. I know people might look at that and be like, really? But I watched that movie. It was a pretty good and decent it was actually a really good movie. I know there was a lot of like people saying, "Oh God, why are we getting this?" But it was a good movie, and after seeing it, I do have confidence in her to bring this show to life, and our comic to life. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, I hope they do justice by it too. Like I said, I though from what I saw of her screenplay of Toy Story 4, I think it's gonna be good. I for me, I don't want them to rush it out and have news like casting and like they're starting by the end of the year. I want them, and this is for any comic being made into a movie or anything book being made into a movie. I want them to take their time. Like I don't want to hear casting news maybe until early next year at the earliest. Because to me, if I hear it like within the next couple months, they're just rushing it. To me, if they take their time, write the script, find a director, cast the right people, or always cast people, it shows that they care and they're not rushing it out. And it shows that they actually care about the fan base behind the book. So I know people will be like, let's get to it now. I'm like, no. I'm like, no, that's the worst thing that could ever happen. Let them do it slowly. To me, if it comes out slower, it shows that they actually care about the product. Maybe I'm wrong, but at least to me, I feel like they do and are respecting the fan base and everybody behind it. Because if they take their time, I feel like they're doing it right because they're trying to get the right people. That's just how I look at it, though. But yeah, Paper Girls, love the book, and I'm sad that it's ending. It's a bittersweet ending. I feel like at one point it's a good thing it ended. I'm glad they didn't drag it out, but at the same time, I love the book so much that I don't want to see it end. So it's one of those like I'm glad they ended it where they did, but at the same time, I do wish it would have gone on. But at the same time, I'm glad they didn't like drag it out. So yeah, that's my take on Paper Girls. Love it, love it, love it. But you know, what are you gonna do? Batman v Superman. Yeah, I actually never saw that movie. I'm not. I'm more of a Marvel person than DC. No hate towards Marvel or DC, but I just like the MCU more than I like the DCEU. That's just my take. If you're a fan of DC, David, I apologize, but I'm just more of a Marvel guy myself. But yeah, I've never seen that movie. I saw Aquaman and Shazam. Loved Aquaman. Shazam, I kind of have mixed feelings about. What do we got here? Uh, yeah, yeah. You like both? Um, there's nothing I think that I have negative about the DCU. I understand why people hate it. Um, I get it. There's definitely things that you know uh, uh, you favor. Yeah, I kind of had that same feeling, David. I prefer the MCU, but I do respect what they're trying to do with DC. I like the MCU just a tad bit more. Like I said, I really liked Aquaman. Shazam, I had more issues with that one. Shazam wasn't one I really liked that much. Yeah, I can see that. That to me, I feel like when you got something like Aquaman, there's a hard way to adapt that though, where you're not like where they can't try to copy like that like what Shakespeare does. And I know a lot of people even compared it to Black Panther, and it came out the same year, so that even added more hate towards Aquaman. I wouldn't say I hate Aquaman. I understand what you're talking about with it being like a ripoff. I get what you're saying, but yeah, I liked Aquaman for what it was. Shazam, I had mixed feelings going into it, and I had mixed feelings coming out of it. And one of the reasons I didn't like Shazam is like they marketed it as like a kid movie, a family movie, and don't get me wrong, it had the family element to it. But then you go from like family element to like this dark moment where like you got the demons biting off people's heads. It's like from one moment you got Shazam being fun and silly, and then the next moment it changes the tone to this dark thing where you got Swavada or whatever. I probably pronounced that name wrong, but him going to confront his dad, and the demons are killing people and throwing them out windows and bite his head off. It's like okay, they did it off camera, but still, it's like it's a bad tasted tone. Cause yeah, you respect that opinion. Yeah, I get what they were trying to do with Shazam, but like one minute you got like you start the movie off with the crash and the father gets badly hurt and I took my brother to see that movie and I really wanted to get him into the to Marvel or DC and they marketed that as a family kid movie and I was excited. I talked him into it. He wasn't into it at first, but I was like, "Come on, it'll be fun. I doubt there'll be anything scary." And then you get to that, and I'm like, "Oh, come on, seriously." And that just gave me left a bad taste in my mouth because like they marketed it as this kid friendly movie, and you got the demons and like the boardroom scene, and it just was frustrated me, and it just was like where was like you could have put at least something in the marketing for that. I get it, you don't want to spoil too much, but like what were you doing? What up, Ewos YT? I probably pronounced your name wrong, but hey, what's up, man? Thanks for joining the chat. Just talk about DC and Shazam right now. But if you have anything you want to talk about, nothing political or like controversial or anything like that, but anything like entertainment, I'm a fan of The Walking Dead, The 100, Marvel, anything you want to talk about, let me know and we can chat about it. But I'll just talk about Shazam. Not like really my thing, just left the bad taste in my mouth. But anything you want to talk about, let me know. We can have a chat about it. And let's just chat. Because that's what we're here to do. And, you know, whatever you want to talk about, I'm here to talk about. Just not like political, controversial, and like stuff like that. Nothing like a controversial, political, or like religious topics. I don't want to go there. Let's just talk entertainment. That's just how I want to roll. Because, just don't want to like offend anybody. My opinions on the Walking Dead Rick movies. You might not agree with my opinion here. Now, I am excited for the Rick movies. I am very much excited for the Rick movies, and I'm interested to see what they do with them. However, part of me kind of wishes that he died on the show, but I respect what they did. Don't get me wrong, I'm still very much excited for the Rick movies. But I did kind of wish that they had the balls to kill him off. That's just my opinion. I get it. I know people, wanting him to live and everything, but that's just my opinion. And I'm okay with him moving. Him surviving and going on to the Rick movies. That's fine. My biggest concern though is with the announcement of the Rick Grimes movies being in theaters is I don't know, I just have a very bad feeling that they might bomb and bomb very, very bad. And I know people will say, but they're Walking Dead movies. They're not going to bomb. But you got to think about it from this perspective. Walking Dead isn't the big juggernaut that it was like 4 years ago. It's been on a downward spiral. Now a lot of people like season 9. I I like it too, but it's not. The Walking Dead isn't the same status as it was back in like season 4, 5, and sort of 6. It's had its downward moments in the recent years. So I feel like that could end up hurting the series in a way, or at least the movies in a way where they don't get the where they could bomb. But I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong here, and they could like make millions of dollars. They're not gonna be like Endgame status, but they're not gonna be what they're not. They're I feel like they're gonna be in the middle. They're not gonna be Endgame status. They're not gonna be like big blockbuster movies, but they're not gonna bomb. I think they're just gonna be average. I understand why they're making them into movies, trying to capitalize on that. I'm gonna be there to see them in the theaters. I think that's a cool idea to see Walking Dead movies in theaters. I know there's a lot of people that hate that idea and are kind of mad that they're putting them in the theaters. I'm okay with them being in the theaters. I think that's cool. Capitalize on it. Like, who doesn't want to see Rick Grimes on the big screen? Like, I don't get it. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about this that I saw on Twitter before my Twitter account was deactivated there today. But a few weeks ago, I saw this guy talking about how annoyed he was about it, and saying how like now he's got to go out and pay for gas to put in his car, and buy a movie ticket and buy snacks and drinks and pay all that money just to go sit in a theater. Now, my rebuttal is, okay, you can bring your own snacks, you can bring your own drinks. At least where I am, tickets cost maybe what, $10, $11, okay. Yes, gas is an issue. I understand that. That's a big issue. I'm not going to deny that. But, like, bring your own snacks, bring your own drinks. A ticket, at least where I am, is $10, $11. It's like, who doesn't want to have that experience of seeing Rick Grimes in the theater? David, you want to see a Governor movie? I definitely think a Governor movie could be possible. And I know David Morrissey has talked about how he'd love to return to portray the Governor. I think a Governor spinoff or movie is definitely could be in the works. I definitely believe that could happen down the line in the future. They got a lot of material from the novel, even though I haven't read them. I hear they have a lot of material from the novels and Rise of the Governor and all that stuff. I would not rule out a governor movie anytime soon. You're still mad he killed Herschel. Yeah, I get that. Oh, Herschel's death. Oh my god, that one was one. I gotta say, there were very few times The Walking Dead made me cry, or at least like start to cry. And Herschel's death was one of them. That and the Lucille scene. Those are probably the two moments that The Walking Dead reduced me to being speechless and like nearly like in tears. Like those were the two moments of The Walking Dead. I'm like, OMG, like what the F just happened? Those were moments I almost cried. I gotta admit that almost happened for me. Um, cause yeah, yeah. As much as I don't like that he killed Herschel, it would be cool to see his backstory. I gotta admit that. You know, the one con I have to say with the Governor movie is that yes, it'd be cool to see his backstory, and I'm still saying yes, I want to see his backstory. But we know everything that happens after the fact. We know how it ends. What do we got here? No, here it was definitely the Herschel beyond measure, and oh, Beth definitely messed me up too. What do you think about Judith? She's a good fit. At least with Gwen when we thought what he wasn't going to be killed. I was going to be mad. Okay, so Judith. First off, Judith. I'm gonna say I love Judith in season 9. That's one of my favorite parts of season 9. I don't know how they did it, but somehow they got perfect casting for Judith. Like I legit don't know how they did it, but that little girl, I forget. I'm not gonna try to pronounce her name because I'm probably gonna butcher it. But that somehow was perfect casting, at least in my opinion. It was perfect casting. Um, when Gwen got hit with Lucille, I was screaming. I was screaming of joy because I wanted to see him get hit with Lucille because it happened in the comics, but the comics it was way more emotional for me. Um yeah, you know what? I wanted Gwen to get that death too. Um I'm fine with Abraham getting it too. I know people were pissed off that Abraham died, but I think it worked for Abe and Gwen dying because first off, you're going into the war. Okay, you got the all out war coming out, and from a writing standpoint, you gotta think about it. What's gonna hurt Rick going into the war and not having a guy who was in the military? Think about it. You need to have Rick at a disadvantage going into all out war. Killing off Abraham leaves him with a big disadvantage because he doesn't have the guy who was in the military who would come up with military tactics, who would know how to fight. Like that hurt Rick going into all out war. So I was okay with that because you can't have Rick going into all out war like having this advantage. You need to have him to be at a disadvantage to an extent. Um, I did not watch Game of Thrones. You know, that was something I had planned to watch this summer, and somehow it just didn't happen. I got into Stranger Things, but didn't get into Game of Thrones. So yeah, no, I can't give you my thoughts on the ending. Apologies. But Yeah, no, I planned on that, but ended up getting into Stranger Things instead. But that's what happened. Um, but what was I talking about a minute ago? Oh yeah, Gwen dying in the comics or on the show. For me, I wasn't streaming at that point. I was left speechless. Like at that moment, I was like that was one of those, I don't know if you ever had one of those moments where like you end the episode and it's like you don't know you are left like you don't know what to think, you don't know what to say, and that's how I came out of that moment. Like wait, what? Yeah, I know I'm missing out. Yeah, I know I'm missing out. I want to check it out because I've heard of great things about it, and I definitely want to check it out. One, I want to check it out, and it's just I just didn't get to it. Stuff happens, life happens. Gonna check it out eventually. One of these days, I'll check it out. But yeah, that the Glenn death moment, I was left speechless. And like going back to Abraham dying, you lose the army guy, leave Rick at a disadvantage, but then you kill Glenn. Glenn was the heart of the group. So you take out the guy who would help with war, and the guy who would come up with ideas for fighting and battling our against Negan. You take out that guy, that leaves Rick at a disadvantage. But then you take out Glenn too, the heart of the group, the guy that keeps up morale. That's another crushing blow, at least in my opinion. So you take the military guy out, you take out the heart and the hope, and you put our group at a disadvantage, which I liked. I know some people might not like it, but I did like that. I thought it was a great idea and a great way to put Rick at at a disadvantage going into the Negan arc. So I liked it at least. I know some people might not disagree with me, but to me, I liked it. I thought it was a brilliant, brilliant idea. But that's just me. I know I don't know what you guys are thoughts on it, but at least to me, I thought that was a good idea, and I liked how it went out, because both deaths actually impact our whole group instead of just like certain people. Both deaths impacted all the people, not just in the lineup, but the people back at Alexandria had effects from that moment. So I liked it at least. Um, but yeah, I get why people might not like that moment though. I still did though. But you know, that's just people. Everybody has their own different tastes. Some people hate that they left season 6 off on a cliffhanger. I'm indifferent about it. I think it was to an extent, I think it was silly and stupid, but I understand why they did it, and so I can't be mad about it. But at the same time, yeah, it was kind of a cheap cop out. So I can understand why people are pissed and mad about it. But at the same time, I'm not mad. I get it. It was a marketing thing. It's the writers probably had no say over it. It was probably more the director, the AMC, and the network asking for that. So I can't be mad because it's AMC. AMC has final say. Whatever they say goes. So I could be mad and complain, but where's that going to get me in life? It happened. It came. It went. Move on. That's how I look at it. Because what's complaining about it now going to do? You know, what's it going to do? But that's just how I look at things like that. Just the way how I think. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that's just how I look at things. Everybody looks at things differently. But that's just how I go. Any other things you guys want to talk about? I'm still here. Well, all right. What do we got, David? I didn't see much of the Eisner Award winners this year. I know Gideon Falls won for what I think it was best new writing. I think or best new book or something. I think that was well deserved. I think Gideon Falls is great. I'm a little bit behind because going back to how I missed out on Bone Parish issue number 10, my shop missed out on Gideon Falls issue number 12, so I'm a few issues behind on that. And what was the other one that I saw? Paper Girls won something. I think it was like for coloring or artist, which I think is well deserved. I love Cliff. He's a great guy. I love how he interacts with his followers on Twitter. That's so cool because like he's just he like the fact that he takes time out because like I tweeted when Paper Girls came out about how excited I was, and he liked the comment, said thanks, and like the fact that he took time out, and I haven't even checked, but I'm sure he has a big following on Twitter. The fact that he took a few seconds just to say thanks and like my post, that shows how much he cares for the fan base. So I like that about him. Yeah, that's what I think it won. I'm not surprised. It's a really good book, and it's getting its own TV show. Not surprising there either. But yeah, best new series. I always forget what I didn't really look at them. I only saw it because Nakro Nation posted it. I honestly, and I should do it, but I don't pay attention to the Eisner Awards. I should just do the fact that I talk about comics, but it's just something that I didn't even know they were happening until after the fact, and I meant to look them up and just forgot. But yeah, best new series, well deserved in my opinion at least. But yeah, Paper Girls won for best new artist. Like I said, I'm pretty sure of it. Not I would again love Cliff. Great interacting with his followers on Twitter. So that's something I really like. But yeah, again, I love comics, but unfortunately did not keep up with the Eisner Awards. But yeah, what do we got, David? Oh, really? Black Hammer and Immortal Hulk didn't win anything? Damn, that's surprising to me as well. Even though I haven't read either of those books, that's surprising. Just how much buzz I heard around Hulk and what was the other one? Black Hammer. There's a lot of chatter around that one, so I'm surprised that neither of those things won. Colin Bunn's never won anything. That's surprising. Huh. I wonder why that is. Because he does a lot of great stuff like Bone Parish and Dark Ark and all these other great books. That's actually really surprising. I think he should win for Bone Parish if that ever goes up for anything. That's very surprising. No worries, I understood what you meant, David. I always I have a bad tendency of autocorrect. I always get people saying in the comments, "What you do? Did you mean this?" I suck at that. Maybe it's due to my vision. Like I said, blind entertainment comes from I'm visually impaired. So yeah, I always screw up with those kind of things. That sucks because Bone Parish is a great book. I wish that one thing I hope happens to Bone Parish, and I think it would work, is it gets picked up for like a mini series or something like that, or something. I think Bone Parish would make a great TV series, even if it's just like a limited or mini series. I think it would be a great show. Always, that's in my opinion. I always prefer comics being made into shows instead of movies. And the reason I say that is because shows they can add everything or at least tweak some things. In a movie, you gotta fit everything into that hour and a half to 2 hour time limit. Where in that case, things are gonna be left out, things are gonna be, rushed. For me, I prefer TV series because you can fit more things in. You don't have to rush things. You don't have to take things out unless they like don't fit the story. But that's just me. I prefer a TV series for a comic over a movie series. But that's just me, because I prefer them to. I'd rather see them drag stuff out than rush it. But that's just me. I prefer like dragged out stuff rather than rushed. But that's just my opinion, at least. I know everybody's different again, but again, that's just how I look at it and how I think. You know, everybody's different. So, there's that. But, what are you going to do? But, yeah, I just prefer the movies. I just prefer the TV series over movies. Um, but, yeah. You too, David. Yeah. I'm glad. I see me and you have a lot of similar looks, David. A lot of similar tastes in the comics and a lot of similar things that we agree on. But yeah, definitely like the TV series over the movies. Um, what's some other? I know Kill or Be Killed by Ed Brubaker is being made into a movie. That's something I'm very nervous about because yes, they could do multiple different movies, but I'm afraid they're gonna cram too much things in, take it out, and I just love that series too much, and I would have preferred that be a TV series. That's what I'm very nervous about. I know Animosity is being made into a movie. That one I'm not as much worried about because I feel like that one could definitely be like a series of movies. I think they could just keep pumping those out with the different story arcs they have. I think that one will work as a movie. I would have maybe preferred it as a TV series, but I think it could work as a movie just as well. But Kill or Be Killed is something I'm very nervous about because I just feel like they might just cram things in, rush things, or just take things out. And I would hate to see them do that with that movie because it was just really good. Or at least it was a really good book, I mean. I haven't seen the movie yet, it's not out. But yeah, I wish we agree on that, David. Or we agree on a lot of things. I'm not saying we don't agree, but we agree on that one. So at least we agree on that one. That's good to know. But yeah, I don't know. We might call it quits here soon. It's getting kind of late where I am. Um, but so if you want to get any last minute things in that you want to talk about, send them my way. We might shut it down in the next couple minutes, 10, 15 maybe minutes. So anything else you might want to talk about, send them my way. But I have enjoyed talking with you. So if you want to head out, that's fine too. Good and scared for that. Well, Corby Kid was definitely a great series that it should have been awarded a few awards. It should have been TV series, at least a mini series. Yeah, I agree with that. Actually, I think that I'm almost positive that Kill or Be Killed won an Eisner Award for Best New Series. I'm almost positive on that. I could be wrong. Look it up if I would look it up now, but I'm not sure. But I'm almost positive it could have been it won an award. Another thing I didn't like about Kill or Be Killed is I feel like it ended too early. I wish Kill or Be Killed would have continued, and I think they could have done something really cool with that series. I don't know, David. I'm not sure when the next live stream will be. I live in a household and there's kids around, so I always like to do it when it's quiet and there's not like a lot of commotion. So, but I will at least make sure to post on Twitter ahead of time, like saying, "Hey, I might go live in a few hours," or tonight I'm going live. That's something I might start incorporating into it. Gonna head up. Got two or three more questions. Send them my way, and we can end it out, David. No issue. Um, but yeah, I think Kirby could have gone on. I'm just gonna go back to that for a minute. It could have gone on, and I think they could have done something cool where Kira took on the mantle of the vigilante killer. I think that would have been awesome. I think they could have continued that story. or at least rebooted it as Kira taking on the mantle of the vigilante killer, similar to like the apprentice taking on the superhero's powers. I think they could have done something like that. I think it would have been an interesting take on the story, like have her go to a different city where maybe different crimes are going on. Give it from her point of view. Maybe a woman as the vigilante is different. Maybe she makes different enemies. Maybe she has different stories that they could tell. I think that would definitely work. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna look up Letter 44. Definitely want to check that one out. I really want to check that out, especially since both people mentioned it. I feel like that's something I should definitely check out. It's getting late where I am though, so I'll probably check it out in the morning tomorrow. But yeah, definitely gonna check that one out. So yeah, but yeah, I definitely think Killer Be Killed could have gone on a little bit longer. I almost made a video about it, but it's been like over a year since that series ended, so I didn't think it'd get a lot of traction on the channel. So, but maybe one day if there's enough interest in it, I'll actually make it a video. But yeah, I think it could have been interesting seeing Kira as the vigilante, moving to a different city, taking on different enemies. Just be an interesting take on the story, at least in my opinion. Yeah, that's a good. That would have been a good premise too. Another theory I had with that, with Kira taking on is maybe I forget if they were like got intimate between each other, but I thought it'd be very interesting if Kira ended up pregnant with like Dylan's child, and then like we could follow Kira for some time, but then down the road, say 15 or so, or maybe say we get to issue 100, and you see we do a few time jumps, and you see his son or daughter come of age, find out what he did, and then take on the mantle after the mother Kira retires. I think that would have been an interesting premise as well. Like, say Kira does it for some time, she has a kid, grows up, have him grow up, do a time jump. Kira's retired, and he or she find out about what Dylan did, and then take on the mantle as the vigilante killer. I think that would have been even cooler too. But that's just my opinions. I think that that story would could have gone on forever. Have Kira be the vigilante killer, have a son or daughter by Dylan, and then years down the line, he or she ends up being the next vigilante killer, and it just keeps going in the cycle of the next generation. At least that's how I would look at it. I think that would have been really cool. And like you said, have it be the demon be sent down to eliminate the bad people. That would definitely be a cool premise too. And I feel like the demon was left so open ended. We didn't know much about him, where they could have added anything in there to just they could have expanded more, and that and continuing the series like I'm talking about could have expanded more on him. And that's at least how I look at it. Um, but yeah, you know, what are you gonna do? The series ended, and I wish it continued going on. But that's how things work sometimes. But it's getting late here, David. I think you're the last person here. If you don't mind, I think I'm gonna say good night and have a good one. And like I said, if the next time I do go live, I'll make sure to at least give everybody like a couple hours heads up or something like that. That way you don't have to miss it. I don't know when it'll be, so don't keep me like on to like a schedule or anything. These might be random for right now until I can maybe come up with a schedule. But right now they're probably gonna be random. But I'll at least try to get like a hey guys, going live tonight or going live in a few hours. So definitely check it out. So that way people can get at least, uh, you know, a good idea of when the next live will be. Um, what you got here? Yes, when I check out Letter 44, or at least look it up, I'll give you a shout. I'll let you know on Twitter or something. And if it's my cup of tea, I'll let you know if I'll check it out. And if not, I'll just say, hey, it's not for me. But I'll definitely at least probably check out the first issue. But yeah. So if that's it, I want to say thanks, David. It was great hanging out with you, HQ Reviews, and I forget the other guy's name, but I apologize if you're still here. But it was a great hanging out with you guys. Great second live stream. We did one last Sunday, which turned out really good. So just thanks. Really appreciate the support. Again, if you're here, definitely you can subscribe, especially if there's anything check out the channel. I got a lot of other content that you could check out. So, and as always, you can follow me on Twitter. I got my new account. I gotta fix the link in the About Me section. Haven't done that yet, but we'll probably do that in the coming days. And you can go follow me on Instagram. I'm not very active on there, but you can go follow me there as well. And, follow me up there. I don't do much there since I don't show my face, but I try to tweet every now and then, or at least send out a pic every now and then about a book I pick up or something. So you can go follow me there if you want. So definitely check me out both places. And I'll see you guys next time.